Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I think we may be entering an era where mass box openings start to make sense on a limited scale for some people with some products sometimes again. And I know that's saying a lot because mass box openings haven't been terribly financially viable for a long time unless you're a card store. If you're a card store and you have direct distributor access pricing, you have a set up economic system for getting rid of the cards via TCG Player, via eBay, in your store where you pay a different fee structure. You pay overhead fees for the brick and mortar store instead of market fees for TCG Player or eBay. Then it's made sense on and off, set to set, depending on your scale. And I recently watched a video from RNG Games. I'll put a link to it down below. He operates a little card store in New Jersey, and he did I guess what we will call a mini mass box opening. He did 72 boxes of Modern Horizons 2 set. And at the end of it, he's fully dialed in with Binder POS and TCG Player and everything. And so at the end, after he had opened all the boxes, scanned in all the cards and everything, he said that he paid something like $12,000 or $13,000 for the boxes to his distributor, and he had pulled about $17,000 worth of TCG Player marketplace value out of the boxes. And so now he has to sell them, pay market fees, pay shipping costs, do the actual labor of getting them into customers' hands, deal with fraud, disputes, all those things. But the reality was there was somewhere around, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 of margin in there in exchange for, getting a haircut off of some of that in terms of fees and friction in the system. And it got me thinking because we're in this kind of weird position in the market right now. Players have not left Magic. It's not as if the last 3 or 4 sets have been bad sets and players feel like they're being repeatedly ripped off. They're only being a little ripped off once in a while, And it's not one of those situations where players have said, okay, you fooled me enough times, I'll be back in a couple years, and they walk away. Instead, what's happened is card stores got the rug pulled out from under them by WotC, and that caused a lot of stores to have to fire sale product, lowering the price on sealed product. At the same time, the buying pressure on singles from players is still healthy because the game is still popular. Again, we haven't seen some giant exodus of players. And so we're in this situation where sealed product has gotten cheaper and singles have not gotten cheaper. They've stayed, reasonably close to what they were, or to any degree that they have gotten cheaper, they are not getting cheaper as fast as sealed product has over the last 3 months. And so that means we may kind of be in a short period where mass box openings become a reasonable thing, maybe even for people like me or you. Now, certainly you will want to have an actual business and a sales tax certificate, because if you are paying sales tax up front on the sealed product, there's no way you're going to make it worthwhile. And it just increases the risk way too much. So, after watching the video from RNG Games a week or two ago, I started thinking about this a lot. And then I thought, well, what about Jumpstart? So, I've kind of spent a couple days looking at this and thinking a bunch about it. And let me kind of show you what I'm thinking. And the main questions to keep in mind here aren't necessarily should we all be opening Jumpstart today. It's more about what am I missing in this analysis? Is there some big glaring thing that I'm not realizing? And beyond just whether or not Jumpstart is a target for a kind of mini mass box opening that you might do yourself, what else might we look for in products in order to find them in the future? So if we take this $83.50 off of eBay, and you can buy that with your eBay MasterCard that gives you 2% back, and the price will come to $81.80. And if we just come over to Dawn Glare tells us at TCG market prices today, there's $101.19 of value in this box. And the nice thing is Jumpstart did not have variants. It did not have foils, full arts, extended arts, showcase, any of that stuff. So the Jumpstart, the Dawn Glare number is the number. And it has the normal restriction that they ignore cards worth less than $1 They assume they're worthless because they would be hard to move, but I'm going to come back to that because I think it's important. But even then, $101.19 of estimated value in a box of Jumpstart that you can purchase for $81.80. And so right off the top, that gives you $19.39 of margin. Now, from that, you have to subtract all the fees, all the shipping costs, all the rest of it, and then you would be left with some amount of average profit per average box. But in looking at this, I started to realize some interesting things. The first is, let's just take a random card now, Tiny Bones. There's nothing special about this card. It's just a random mythic from the set. And if you look at this here, its market price is $8.62. And if we scroll down, we see there are a bunch for sale in the $8.50 range, and that includes shipping. So that's really a good indicator of price right now, $8 to $8.50. And that's all of those are with free shipping, and it's listing the market price at $8.62. But if we come over to eBay, now these are completed sales. And you can see from the dates on them, they're completed sales in the last week to 10 or 11 days. And so these are higher than that $8 to $8.50. And so if the Dawn Glare box price of $101.19 is based on TCG Market, there are a lot of cards in the set. And by a lot, I mean, in looking into this, I saw a lot of the time, the cards actually sell for more on eBay, shipping included, than they do on TCG Player at TCG Market price. And so when Dawn Glare tells us it's a $101.19 box, if you were to bust it up and sell it on eBay, you might actually expect to make, and I'm just going to totally make up these numbers, but maybe it's $110, maybe it's $115, something like that. And so it's interesting that eBay, and I've talked about this in the past, eBay is a very inefficient marketplace, especially compared to TCG Player, and I suspect that's why you see things like this, where the actual completed sales prices are more than the TCG market price. But this holds for most of the cards I looked at out of Jumpstart. There were some that were cheaper, but they were the exception. Most of them were selling for a higher price on eBay than TCG Player. And so that $19.39 of difference between what you would be buying these boxes for and the average value on Dawn Glare, you need to expand that a bit, maybe another $10 or so. So there might be $30 of profit in these boxes. And then this will come back to what I was saying about Dawn Glare excluding cards that are worth less than $1 at TCG market price. The interesting thing about that is when you sell on eBay, you can sell these as lots of 4. And so not only does that economize on shipping, but you can take these kind of cards, which you'll see here, everything on the screen has a listed market price less than $1. And instead of just excluding all the value and pretending that you can't capture any of the value of those cards, you would just package them up as 4 sets and sell them like that on eBay. And you could use the eBay standard envelope, which is a tracked envelope designed for shipping cards. It would still fall under the 1 ounce limit. I got out my postage scale. I put an envelope, a top loader, 4 cards, and 4 penny sleeves together. It was under 1 ounce. And so you could ship all of this for the same price as shipping 1 card. So it would economize the shipping a lot, and you could start to pull out some of the value of these cards that Dawn Glare has excluded when it excludes everything with a market price under $1. Now, obviously, at some point, these market prices break down to, I don't know, 30 cents, 20 cents. You probably don't want to mess with even 4 sets of those because the shipping cost is going to be pretty high compared to the actual sales price. So the point, though, is that you can capture more value than what Dawn Glare was saying. Not only from the fact that cards on eBay sell generally for more than they sell on TCG Player, but because you can go reach further down into the low market price cards and sell things that Dawn Glare was assuming you would not want to sell. Now, as far as volume and liquidity, you know, these cards are moving very well. I know maybe Rhystic Study was not a good example to show you, but I checked this on maybe about a dozen cards in the set, and the result was the same. You know, if you look at actual completed sales in the last week, this is probably about 20 sales. I know Rhystic Study is a evergreen favorite. There will never be a time when this card is not popular, but even just regular commons and uncommons, like I said, I searched a whole bunch of them on TCG Player just to see, are these cards actually moving? And so let's see, let me go on. The eBay standard envelope, I wanted to touch on this real quick because they've designed this as a tracked envelope for shipping cards. They say 2 trading cards with top loaders. I don't know if that means 2 top loaders or 1 top loader with 2 cards. They wouldn't know anyway, so you could just put 4 cards and a top loader in there. Like I said, it still comes in under an ounce. So you'd be at 57 cents for the shipping costs. You know, just to yank this up real quick and look at a particular example of what this might cost you. Top loaders with a penny sleeve, 9 cents, and envelopes, 2 to 3 cents. So, you know, you're looking at somewhere around, 9 cents and 3 cents and 70 cents, is it? Somewhere around 70 cents of shipping costs to ship one shipment of up to 4 cards. And so when I think about this in aggregate, I can't see a lot of problems here. Now, obviously, the first thing that I know a lot of you are going to say is, Craig, what is your time worth? Because let's say you bought 100 boxes of this and you actually wrung out $30 of profit from each one of these, you'd be talking about something like, what's in a Jumpstart box? 24 packs of 20, so 480, so 48,000 cards you'd be handling in order to eventually make $3,000 of profit. And it's probably not worth your time by some metrics of what your time is worth. And I kind of have an issue with this argument because people who run businesses, people who try to be card dealers, people who try to make money enjoying flipping cards and things like that, they don't make a lot of money for their time. It's not a very valuable service to be providing to society. And so asking them what's your time worth is a bit disingenuous. You know, if you have a professional career and you make $100 an hour doing your professional job, it's going to be a long time before you can make $100 an hour flipping cards. There are very few people in the world who can. You do it because you enjoy it and because you're trying to grow a business. Maybe it's because you're trying to get experience. You're trying to do as I'm asking here, learn what am I missing. So the other thing that I know I'm not taking into account is fraud. Rudy has said before that when he did a lot of eBay sales and he sold singles on eBay for years and years, hundreds of thousands of transactions, his fraud rate was low single digit, but it was there. And so you just built that into your business model. If you might think, hey, buy 100 boxes of this, make $3,000 of profit, maybe you get ripped off 1% of the time. That's going to eat up more than 1% of your $3,000 of profit. It's going to eat up 1% of your revenue. So keep that in mind. So let me know what you think I'm missing here. I don't advocate that you go out and buy a ton of Jumpstart boxes and try this yourself necessarily. If you do, let me know, because I'd be really interested to see how it goes for you. But if there's some obvious problem that I'm missing, tell me. If you've done this before, tell me what you learned from it. Because I'm seeing this situation where, let's say we had a bonus bucks sale, and I didn't check to see what the Jumpstart boxes on TCG Player are selling for, but let's say we had a bonus bucks sale, and instead of paying $81, you could pay $78, $77 for these Jumpstart boxes. You know, every additional dollar makes this whole enterprise a little more attractive. And I don't know, what could we look for? What is the price at which we would jump feet first in and say, let's go ahead and try this? So let me know what you think about all that. Like I said, I'm not planning to actually do this right now. And if there's some obvious stupid thing I'm missing, please let me know. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.